All right, kiddos, we're going to talk about what is required in your first sort of long-term project for the year, which is going to be your environmental law wiki. Now, hopefully you know what a wiki is. Essentially, a wiki is just a document that multiple people can author and can make changes and edit. So we're going to do all of that through Google Docs. And so if you don't have a Gmail account, don't have a Google Docs account, you need to go ahead and get one of those. I don't think that's really asking a whole lot. Most of you probably have one already, and if you don't, you'll find that it's incredibly useful once you have one. So here's the basic gist of it, and you'll see this on the document that's going to be up for you on Edmodo as well. You're going to work in a team of 3. You're going to compile notes on environmental laws and treaties, particularly those that apply to us in the U.S. Obviously, that's what we're going to sort of be most concerned with. So on the document, it says that each entry should have all of this stuff. You need to have the name of the law, the abbreviation or common name of the law. Now, sometimes there aren't any. Sometimes it is that act, okay? What date it was passed, specifically the year. I'm not real worried about what the specific date was, but the year is really important. Why did the law come about? Sometimes there's no one specific reason, but a little bit of history there sometimes is useful. The effects of the law, what does it apply, how is it, or what does it cover, how is it usually applied? That's what I want to sort of be the most in-depth, content-rich part of the entry. And then what agency of the government enforces the law, like who's in control of that particular thing. So to show you how that works, let's go ahead and jump in and make a little Google Doc to see how this would work. So you go into Google, you go to Drive. It used to be Documents, I think, but you go into Drive, and that's where all your documents are. You'll see some menus over here, and you're just going to hit Create Document. It's going to come up, and it's going to be sort of like any sort of general Word document. The first thing that I would do is go ahead and rename it so that you know what it is. So this is my Environmental Law Wiki. Okay. So you're going to throw that in right away, and then so we'll just start. Now you can decide that you want to pretty it up and make sections and stuff like that, but I'm just going to go ahead and start with my first law. So we're going to take one of the ones that applies to us directly in the section that we're doing right now, which is the Mining Act of 1872. Okay, so that is the name of the act, obviously. So let's look back and see what else we needed. Okay, abbreviation or common name. There is no abbreviation or common name of this law, so you can sort of leave that out. Date passed, 1872. Okay, simple enough. And then reason that the law came about. Now this is where obviously you're going to have to do a little bit of research to figure out why that law came about. And I already sort of know what's going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in a few things. After discovery, typing is hard. In the 1840s. Okay, so I didn't put a ton there, and I'm going to assume that this is sort of my rough draft, like I'm the first person doing the entry there. And in fact, I might want to change this, so like maybe the next person comes in and is editing is like, okay, and they want to say, well, we need something more specific here, so I'm going to put reason instead of just like a blank bullet there, and then we'll sort of separate that out and make sure that we know what's up there. Okay, so you put that in there. Then the next thing then is, okay, what were the effects of the law? What did the law actually do? So again, let's say that you're like, okay, well, I saw the last person put this, so I'm going to go ahead and start off this entry this way. So what were the effects of this law? Now, it's something that I didn't specifically say, but in a case of a law like this that was passed a long time ago, and this isn't true for most environmental laws. Most environmental laws are pretty current. But you might want to put in a little section about what it currently allows. Okay, so that's some of the effects. It doesn't have to be all of them, or at least I didn't put all of them in. Now, you've got 3 people in your group, so you guys should be checking up on each other and doing some editing, so you can go back and fill in more of that stuff. And so the last part of that is enforcement. Okay, so we'll do that as well. And this particular law is enforced by the MSHA. And if you put something like that, you need to put down what it is. And you put, what I would also like is if you could put what department it was in as well. Okay, so you put that in. Maybe later someone else goes back and finds out that that's incorrect, and they fix that, and that's exactly what should go on. And so you can see that these entries aren't massively long, and I would say for each one that this is probably about the length. Some of them will be a little bit longer than this. You should be somewhere around a half page to a page on each one. You're going to have probably 40 or so of these throughout the year. But again, you're working on a team of 3 and you're working on it over the course of a year, so it's definitely going to be a lot easier. Now, so if you're the person that starts it, so like you started your environmental law wiki, then what you need to do is you need to go up here to the little share box. So right now mine says that it's private, like I'm the only one that can access it. So you need to change that. Now you can add specific people down here. So once you have everyone in your group, you have their Gmail address, you can put that in there. You could conceivably change it and so that anyone with a link can get to it, and so then you could just email out the link. The problem with that obviously is that if the link escapes out in the wild, then anyone can change your wiki. So you really want to confine it to your group and to me, okay? You also want to send it to my Gmail account. And just to highlight that right here, that's not that hard to get, but it's garnold.science@gmail.com. So you want to send it to me as well so that I can get in there and look at it. And if you don't, I'll send you a message and say, hey guys, you need to make sure that I can get to that document as well. Okay? So you need to do that share part, and then multiple people can edit it. So you might want to say rotate the initial entry between people and say, okay, I did this one, you do the next one, you do that one, and then the others of you need to go back in and edit it, okay? You can't just let it be. I want to see that there was editing going on. I want to see that there was stuff added, that things were corrected, and I can see all of that once you give me access to it as well, okay? So that's the essential gist of the project. Hopefully that will go pretty well. I'm sure that the main question for many of you all then is, okay, so when's it due? Probably sometime in March or April. I haven't decided an exact date yet because that's obviously months in advance. How's it going to be graded? You'll have your individual contribution that will be a substantial part of the overall group grade. Probably, I'm going to guess probably about half and half. I'm going to give you a grade for the overall thing as well, and then for your individual contribution, that will all roll into one big grade. Okay? So hopefully that lets you know what you need to get done there, and you can get started on that because there are a couple of laws in this unit. That Mining Act of 1872 is one of them. And then there's some other mining stuff in 1977 that we're going to talk briefly about in class that you're going to be required to go in and put this stuff in the wiki. All right, thanks, guys.